What's up, YouTube? I have been getting some requests on my middleweight fighter and wanting to see my Prestige 15 build and what I've done with him so far. And I also thought this would be a great time to start a little bit of the discussion on perks. I have been doing some studying up on the perks to understand them better and how they're used. And I have, I guess you could say, discovered a new, not new, but a strategic way in which to use them, which actually is making them a lot more fun to use and to build or choose from. So we'll talk about that a little bit at the end as well. But yeah, we can jump right into it. For my middleweight build, I'm currently at a Prestige 15 level. I think I mentioned this in a previous video, but I use my lightweight, my heavyweight, and my women's weight class to basically build up those skill points for my middleweight fighter. So I've got close to 4,000 skill points available to prestige this fighter up even more so. So with that, I'm looking at I could probably have him maxed out at a P17 or very close to a P17 if I wanted to. But I'm actually going to wait until I have enough points to prestige him up to a prestige 20. And then at that point, I'm pretty sure that's when I'll have my first 5-star fighter build, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to play him for a bit at P20. I was going to wait to P30, but I'm getting not impatient, but just I want to play with him. So as soon as I can get him up to a P20, max out those attributes, then we'll be playing with him. Should coincide pretty well with finishing the challenge of getting these 3 P0 fighters up to Division 20, which, as you can see, I'm almost at Division 17. I did hit it the other day, and then I lost my very next match, so back down to D16. So we'll pick that up on upcoming episodes as well. But let's get into this middleweight. So for my middleweight, I want to create an all-around MMA fighter that leans a little bit more toward grappling, but can strike. So that's where I have spent a lot of my time and mindset on how I want to build this fighter. So from a stand-up standpoint, unless you are a very good counter puncher, or you really love using head movement and using slips to throw punches, 3-star accuracy is enough. If you're wanting to do all of that, then I would definitely recommend going up to 4 stars. But for my particular build, 3 stars is good enough. I am looking to counter, but typically my counters are more block counters. My head movement typically is for evasive actions, not necessarily to set up counters. I'm not that good of a striker, so I know my strengths and weaknesses. So I try to play to my strengths. From a blocking standpoint, you really need at least 4-star blocking to have a strong competitive fighter, so you can withstand some of those strikes. Footwork, typically I like to do 4.5 footwork, but I am experimenting with the feather step perk. So I believe that's going to give me increased footwork, especially retreating. And as you know, if you don't know already, I like to play off the back foot. So I'm hoping that with 4-star footwork and the feather step, it'll be adequate for me. If not, I can always increase that when I do my next prestige up. And again, I'm not using my head that much other than just to be evasive from strikes. So I would like to have more than 3-star head movement, but it's adequate. Kick speed and kick power. I do like to throw kicks, but I tend to throw too many. So I wanted to throttle this down a little bit to hopefully get me to stop throwing so many kicks. I need to use my kicks strategically to set up my takedowns. And then for punch, again, it's nothing great, but it's adequate. When you're dealing with a prestige 15 level fighter, once I get my strikes built up, the moves built up, I'm hoping that this will be enough. I'm not looking to knock people out. I'm looking to be able to throw it at a decent volume, to give the perception that I'm a striker. But my intent is to, unless they're just not that good, my intent is to take this to the ground and either pound you out or submit you. I like having 4-star switch stance. This allows me to play, from both sides. Definitely helps as well if you've got someone that is really trying to attack your legs. Not that I'm not leg checking. I don't want to have to be too concerned with that. So being able to switch stances at will is very helpful for me. And it changes up the look of my fighter as well, so it can give my opponent some trouble. And then with takedown defense, I'm not that concerned about getting taken down. However, I would prefer to be on top, not on the bottom. So for against good grapplers, when I get up to higher divisions, I'm going to want to have some takedown defense ability to be able to possibly do some counters and really just keep it on the feet so I can dictate when to take it to the ground. And then for health, I need strong cardio. Again, from what I'm going to be doing, I'm not looking for quick round 1 wins. So I'm going to be going into round 2, 3, and deeper if we're having 5-round fights. So I'm going to need that cardio to help with my takedowns as well. If they're getting stuffed, I'm going to start really zapping my stamina. So I need that cardio. And then, I am taking a little bit of risk with only having 3.5-star chin. But again, I'm not looking to stand with somebody for 3 rounds. So I'm hoping, based off my experience with my P0 fighters, I feel like this will be enough, along with 3-star body health. And then I would like the recovery to be a little bit better, but I found that 3 stars is adequate. Try not to get rocked too much, but when you do, I can recover. And then with cut resistance in UFC 6, it doesn't seem like the cuts definitely hurt with your, obviously head health and some of your block health. But as far as doctor stoppages and things like that, it takes a lot. So I'm not that too concerned with cut resistance. I think 3 stars is enough, for now. And then from the bottom game, here's everything's basically at 4 stars. Typically, I like to have takedowns in top game at 4.5, and I like to have my ground striking at 4.5. But again, I'm working with some strategy with perks, so I feel like this will be enough. This allows me to be a strong grappler, but then spend more attribute points in my stand-up, again, to make me stronger at stand-up, to give that perception, because I want to set up my takedowns with my strikes. I'm not spamming takedowns. I'm striking to set up the takedown. And then I'm using my health to make sure that I don't, zap my stam in doing so. So that is my actual build from an attribute standpoint. I'm using the Prestige 15 fighter. I'm going to skip moves for now and go over to perks because this is something that I'm getting a better understanding of and better know-how of how to use this. And this is where it can get really fun from a strategic standpoint. One of the things about playing ranked is that, you're stuck with the moves, the skill sets, and the perks of your fighter. So take Khabib, for instance. I love Khabib. I love playing with Khabib. However, from a striking standpoint, he's okay, but it's slow. He's got, heavy hooks. He's got long animations. When they land, they're effective, but, it's hard to land them. So being able to design, a Khabib-like fighter, but actually can strike, has faster striking animations. My goal is to make a Khabib, but, 10 times better if I can. So that's what I'm looking for. So for me, my main perk, until something changes, will always be Anvil. Because again, I'm looking to take this to the ground, and I would love just to go ahead and get a TKO. So if I can get Mount and I can get that posture up, and I have flow state, and I'm using that anvil to end that fight. So for me as a grappler, that's always going to be number one. Submissions are great, but I feel like I'm good enough with submissions. I don't need an extra perk. But this anvil, when it says it improves ground and pound duration, power and stamina, they're not kidding. 16 seconds doesn't seem like a lot, but I can almost double up my strike output on the ground from that posture up using anvil than without it. So that's pretty effective, especially for diminishing the block and obviously doing some big time damage in the head health. And also too, it gives more power to the strike. So I'm working with 4-star ground strikes. Well, with anvil, it's more like 4.5 star. So I'm kind of getting that half star anyway, just with using an anvil perk. And I'm getting easier denials from top position all the time. So when I'm on top, it's going to be harder for my opponent to get transitions because I've got anvil, and I'm going to be able to easier to deny those transitions. So for perks, you really want to look at these perks to see how you want to fight as a fighter. So I'm a grappler, so I want to be able to have better takedowns. So cracking, that's the perk you want to use if you need better takedowns from the stand-up. So this is going to allow me to have faster action times, faster animations for my takedowns. I haven't experimented with it too much, but I believe is actually going to allow me to have a greater distance as well for my takedowns. So again, it's just improving my overall takedowns. The Grizzly. The Grizzly is going to help me from a stamina standpoint throughout the entire round. So especially if it's a 5-round fight, Grizzly is really going to help me because it allows me to clinch and perform takedown actions, and I'm going to spend less stamina. So if I shoot 3 takedowns and they all get stuffed, I'm going to have much less stam drain compared to if I didn't have this Grizzly perk. So it's very important for me as an overall grappler to make sure that I'm reserving as much stamina as I possibly can. Now, these last 2 perks for me is all about strategy. So I want that feather step perk. That feather step perk is going to allow better footwork when retreating. As I mentioned earlier, I like to play off the back foot. So I get in, I throw one shot. Maybe I'll throw one combination. Maybe I'll throw a 3-piece, but then I'm out. And with this feather step, I'm out even quicker. So I've got 4-star footwork, but now with feather step, at least from a retreating standpoint, I'm more like a 4.5 footwork. So I'm hoping you guys are following along and this is making sense. So when I got the feather step perk, as I retreat, my footwork goes from a 4-star to really like a 4.5 star. So I'm working with some good footwork. And with all of these perks, if I'm using them appropriately, I'm building up my flow boost meter. So feather step, if I'm hitting the opponent quickly after evading with a lunge, building up my flow meter. For Grizzly, when either fighter performs a takedown scramble. So if I shoot and they deny late, I get flow boost. If they shoot and I deny late, I get flow boost. For Kraken, performing a takedown shortly after the opponent misses a strike. He throws a body punch or a head kick, he misses it. I go for a takedown, I get it. Actually, I don't have to get it, just performing it. Then I'm going to get a flow boost. And then obviously the same with anvil. If I hit the opponent twice within a short time during a postured ground and pound, I'm going to get flow boost. So anytime I am in full guard and I posture up and I land, flow boost. Half guard, posture up, I land, flow boost. So I'm building up flow boost with tons of different ways. And then my last perk, hot blooded. And you're probably going, man, why in the world would he use hot blooded? This guy's a grappler. Again, I want to be a total MMA fighter. In order to do that, I need to strike. So for hot blooded, stand-up strikes spend less stamina in round 1. So what does that mean? What that means is, from a stamina standpoint, I can throw a higher volume of strikes in round 1 than my opponent will be able to, unless they have hot-blooded as well. Now, I have 4.5 stam for my stars attributes. So this is really going to help combine with that. So 4.5 stam is like probably like a 96, 97 rating for stamina. And any ranked fighter with like a 96, 97 stamina with hot-blooded, I mean, you could, boy, now you just can't spam them, but you could probably throw 100 strikes in that round and your stamina will barely be touched. That's how important and how powerful this perk is. Again, it's not my flow state, but I'm able to use that. And in round 1, if I choose to, I can strike the entire time without a single takedown and not lose a lot of stamina. And if I'm connecting, I'm obviously draining their block health. I'm draining their head health, their body health, their leg health, whatever that may be. But I'm able to outstrike them. So I can throw a 3-piece, and instead of it taking, 4 seconds for my short-term stam to regenerate, it's taking 2 seconds. So I'm able to, if we're exchanging, and it's my turn, then his turn, then my turn, then his turn. With this hot-blooded in round 1, I can go my turn, his turn, my turn, his turn, my turn. So I'm almost like taking 2 turns for his 1. So if he tries to strike with me, as long as I'm, not taking a lot of damage, he's going to lose in round 1. Now, I can only do this in round 1. Round 2 and 3, and then 4 and 5, if we have it, if I try to, outstrike him, I'm going to probably lose because I'm not a striker. But in round 1, I can give that perception. So kind of my strategy is round 1, I'm not looking for takedowns unless they're just obviously there. I'm striking because I don't want them thinking that I'm a grappler. Come round 2, 3, 4, and 5, this is where Grizzly really comes into handy because now I'm going to be mixing in my takedowns and not spending as much stamina. Obviously, throwing strikes, I'm going to spend more stamina because it's round 2 and I don't have hot-blooded anymore. But I'm not going to be looking for a lot of strikes. I'm going to be going for takedowns. So again, I'm using less stam. If you're fighting with a creative fighter that has no perks or just the unbreakable perk, you're at an advantage because you're being able to use these as strategy of how you fight. For instance, if I have hot-blooded and I'm going to strike hard for round 1, but my opponent has perpetual, which is basically the same thing. Stand-up strikes spend less stamina, but instead of round 1, it's round 2 through 5, I think it is. So it's actually a kind of a better perk for long-distance fights. But again, I'm trying to set up the perception that I'm a striker, so hot-blooded, it works for me for round 1 because I'm not going to be throwing high-volume strikes typically in rounds 2, 3, 4, and 5 because I'm taking it to the ground. My strikes are going to be from the ground, not from standing. So again, for me, round 1, I'm going to be throwing a lot of strikes, and that's all strikes. That's punches and kicks. And I'm also going to be clinching and throwing some elbows as well because, again, I can strike and I can clinch with minimal stamina drain. So not that I'm going to be clinch spamming, but if I run into a player that's high pressure and they just want to be in my face all the time, I'm just not going to sit there. I'm going to clinch them, throw an elbow. They're going to get in my face again. I'm going to clinch them, throw an elbow. So again, for that round 1, I'm able to do that, and I'm not going to be draining a lot of stamina. Now, if I'm doing damage to them and they're trying to trade with me, their stamina is going to be suffering. So therefore, in rounds 2 and 3, when I'm going for takedowns, they're going to have a much harder time stopping them. So for my build, I believe that these are perfect perks for me to be able to strategize and kind of set up my gameplay and hopefully get more wins. So I'm really excited about playing this guy. I hope this video was helpful. If so, guys, please give a like, subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. Tell your friends about it. And this is good information to have when you're building your fighter. This is one of the things now, my newest thing that I'm loving about Online Career. You can't do this with a ranked player. A Khabib's perks are Khabib's perks. You can't change them. If Khabib had feather step and hot blooded and had a little faster punches, I mean, I don't know. He'd probably be unstoppable in this game. So, I think EA's done a good job with the perks, making sure that, even some of these fighters that are really cracked, from a perk standpoint, they're not overly cracked. Now, when you're able to build your own fighter and you get up to P15 and higher, I mean, you can really crack these guys out. And now once I build up my moves, I mean, he's going to be hard to beat. Not that he's unbeatable, because I'm still playing him, but he's going to be hard to beat. Now, 2,570 points used to do of all this, to have 5 perks and to have all these attributes. So therefore, my moves are going to suffer. So what I did from a move standpoint is I made sure that I didn't even do that. I forgot about that. So I did not. Oh boy. So when I prestige up, I want to make sure I have my arm bars and triangles, and I want to have my Von Flue choke as well. And I can explain that in later videos, but I forgot to get those, darn it. But typically I would have those. And then from that, honestly, from a kicking standpoint, I'm trying to go bare bones. But I need fast body kicks just to help set up combos. So I did spend some money on getting some fast kicks, but everything else I've stayed, status quo as far as how the defaults are. I did add a fast rear roundhouse kick to pair with my heavy lead. I think that could really help with some good combos there. So I'm going to try that out. Then everything else is just the standard defaults. The only thing that I did from a punching standpoint is I did add my, where is it? I did add my, it's so weird, it always takes it away. Where is it? There we go. I added my lead Superman punch. Not that I use it a lot for punching, but I use it to set up takedowns. So it's something that I need in my arsenal. I'm really good at it. Maybe one day you guys will name the combo after me. I've yet to see anybody really use it, so I'm sure to get out here soon enough. But there's a certain a little strike combo that I like to use for takedowns. So I need that lead Superman punch. Other than that, I'm going with all fast animations. So with that, honestly, guys, go with what feels good for you. I've tried several different animations. I like the spider just because it's like, kind of a quick with a little extra snap jab animation to it. I love the snap cross. I mean, it's a pretty much standard in UFC games these days. It's got quick animation. I like it. And then I go with the versatile. The versatile gives a nice, it gives a little range with speed. So I found like this is as close to like Charles Oliveira hook that I can find, and I like his hooks. I love the sweet rear hook. I love the animation kind of coming over the top. It looks like a overhand almost, but obviously a much quicker animation. I just like the way it looks and feels when I'm throwing it. So I'm going to keep using it until it doesn't work. And then with the body jabs, I like the sweet animations, so I'm staying with those. Body hook, staying with sweet. I like the composed rear hook. It's great to end combos with. It's quick, but it's short, so you can really hit it quickly on the ends of your combos. I even like to kind of hesitate. Maybe I'm throwing a 3-piece combo, and then I'll hesitate and throw that last 4-piece with that rear uppercut. It tends to catch them as they're about to start their turn. So I almost kind of steal their turn just with that one punch. So it is effective. And then I've got the heavy back overhand, just the Khabib overhand. I honestly don't throw that hardly ever. And then I got the rear elbow that does help when I'm in tight. I would have liked to have the lead elbow as well, but I don't have enough points, so I decided to not go with that at this point. And then other than that, I've got the scrappy lead uppercut. I just like that animation. It's a little bit longer. I don't know, just a little bit more kind of a dirty boxing type. But when you combine that with that composed rear hook, I don't know, it just really flows well together. I like it. And then you don't get any options with the fast uppercuts. I just leave that at versatile. And then obviously with my lead Superman punch, I like to go with rush. I love that animation. It's quick, and he doesn't really get off. He doesn't really get off the ground much. So it's really quick. I like the animation. Yep, and then just the standard back fist. So that's the moves. Again, there's not much there from a move standpoint, but I honestly don't see all that much value other than just surprise of having a ton of moves in your arsenal. You really should focus on your attributes, your perks, and then building up these moves. As you can see, I haven't used them, so they're all 1-star moves. So even though I'm 4-star punch speed and 3.5-star punch power, these are going to have little effect for now. So I've got to build these up as quickly as possible. So yeah, guys, that's my build. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please send a like and subscribe to the channel. Tell your buddies about it, and let me know what you think. If I should be posting more of these kind of educational type videos, I can definitely dig it into the perks more. If you guys want to know more about strategy and how to build compared to maybe certain opponents that you're struggling with certain perks. So give me your suggestions, your questions, and I'll be happy to build a video for it. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Until next time, we'll see you.